Hi everybody and welcome to Open Source Tonight. Today we've got a little bit more of a technical video in store for you. I'm going to be showing you from start to finish how to build a very simple Linux GTK 3.0 app on your Linux system and be able to package it so you could share it with your friends or family, whatever, that's using Linux. Some prerequisites of today's program is you should be using Ubuntu 20.04 or newer. I know it will work on at least that, okay? You need to have at least some very fundamental terminal skills and be able to use a code editor like VS Code. And that's really just about it. So let's go ahead and hop right on over to the desktop right now. And let's take a look at what I've got in store for us today. All right. So here's the desktop right here. And what we can see is I have already got a brand spanking new folder called r-cool-app. This is the folder that will contain our app source code. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to use this for our source code directory. Now, a couple housekeeping things. The first thing we're going to need to do, we're going to need to install a few things. So let's do that. So if I pull over my notes here, you want to run, let me make this a little bigger here real quick. So you want to run this command to get our to get the dependencies we need. While it will actually set Python 3 as a dependency, let's go ahead and do that anyway. Type in your password. And as you can see, I've already got all this installed, so we're ready to go. But we will need to do that, okay? So that will take care of that. Now, again, we can go ahead and we can build our apps directory, and we're going to do that here. Well, we already built it, but we're going to build a separate one for packaging, and we'll show that here in a few minutes. Okay. So what we're going to do now is let's go ahead and look at our source code. So in an effort to save time, I'm going to paste this source code in and explain it rather than actually for real code it in front of you. All right, so here's our source, and as you can see, what we have is we've got a bunch of different lines here. So hopefully that text is visible to everybody there. But anyway, we're going to import GI, then we're going to require the GTK version we're going to be using. Now, for the record here, I'm using GTK 3.0. 3.0 is actually getting kind of old, but that's a good thing because it will work on almost everything. If you don't need to support everything, you could use a later version of GTK and get some better features. But again, for today's tutorial, we're just doing something simple, and I prefer to have support. So anyway, if we continue back over here to my screen, moving on, we can then import from the gi.repository GTK. We do this after, by the way, we do the require up here, so we get the right version of GTK. All right. Now, we've got a function here, and this is going to be called when that we actually click a button. Hence, I called it button, or in my case, btn underscore clicked. Widget is our only argument, our only value that's being passed through to our function. Okay, and we've got this global variable called text area. Then we're setting some text in that area, well, hello. Okay, we create a GTK window down here. Okay, and we call it the title r-cool-app. Again, most of this is kind of self-explanatory. The default size function here, this our method, what this does is it sets the default size of our window. Our border width sets some padding around the window to make it look a little less ugly in my mind. Then we're going to connect an event using our connect method here called destroy, and we're going to connect to gtk.main underscore quit. So let me explain what that is, that main underscore quit real quick. What that does is that will run whenever we want the app to quit. And that will actually close the GUI and clean everything up for us, the GTK does for us. So we do need to run that when the user is going to exit the app. Now, in the destroy event, it's clicked whenever they hit the X button on the app. So if we didn't do that, the app wouldn't close. Yeah, that would be pretty bad, right? So of course we had to add that event. That way you can close the app. Next, we've got a GTK grid. And what a grid is, you can think of it just like a real grid, right? You're putting different coordinates on it, like in math class, and that's where you determine where different things like buttons and text go into your user interface. Then we're going to add our grid to our GTK main window. Now we're creating our text area down here called GTK label, and then we're making the text inside of it, which they use the title for it inside of it called label. I'm just putting 3 dots. So what will happen is those 3 dots are going to show up before, okay? They're going to show up before that we actually click the button, okay? And then when we click the button, what will happen is the app will actually switch over for us to the text that's provided in the function that we are going to run. Okay, moving on, we create our button, btn, GTK button. Again, talk to me is the text. You all probably have figured out how this works. It's pretty simplistic. Again, this is not a fancy app. You're not going to win any awards if you built something this simple, I don't think, but maybe. We're going to connect an event called clicked on it, and then of course that comes back up here to our btn_clicked event handler, that function, and then we're going to attach to our grid these widgets. So just so everybody knows, the button and the label are widgets, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to attach those into our text area. This is going to be the first item in the grid, okay? And so your coordinates go here, and then your effectively width and height, how many columns and rows it spans is here, okay? So row and column 0, and then down here we've got 1, 1, and so forth, again with the button as well. Then we're going to go ahead and show our window with the show all method, and then we run the GTK main loop. So the main loop is something that any GUI application needs to have. This will be constantly running in the background to keep the GUI application open, the actual user interface running. And as you click on different things, the events will fire from within this loop and we'll get notified. So that's just some fundamental, simplistic, hopefully easy to understand things about it. So if we actually run our app now, we can run it, if I can type correctly, okay, we can run it by typing Python 3 main.py in my case here, or whatever the name of your file is, and then we're going to go ahead and do talk to me. So unfortunately, I'm not sure how I can make the text bigger on this, so we'll just zoom in on this in post, but as you can see, that's how it works. And so I can close it. We can do it again, and again I can say talk to me, and if you hit the X, it closes. So it's that simple. So we've got an application now that technically works. Again, it's very simple, but it does work. So how do we get this packaged up so we can send it to our friends? Because, you know, they might want to build something on top of your app. They might want to play with it, whatever. How do we get it over to them in an easy way? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to make what's called a deb package. And one of the reasons that we're going to be using Ubuntu for this is because Ubuntu systems, Debian systems, Linux, stuff like that, these are the systems that use deb packages, and therefore we'll be able to build it and then also install it afterwards. I'll show you how to do that, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. So let's build our deb package. So if we take a look back at my screen, we're going to go back to the terminal, and now it's going to get good, because now that we've done what we've done, we can actually build a deb package. So let's do that. So we're going to build a deb package right now. So I'm going to build a new folder right here by using this command that I'm pasting in. And then I'm going to do another one. And I'm going to explain this as I'm doing it here in a second. So usr/bin is where the system will put files. Okay, that's where right here. And basically what we're doing is inside the deb package folder here that we just created, r-cool-app-0.0.1, what's going to happen is that we are going to actually basically have the deb package build that file structure out for us during the install process. So what that means is that what we really want to do is build that same structure inside of our folder here, if that makes sense. So again, if you want something in usr/bin, which again is the place that is standard to put packages, then that's what we're going to do. So we'll do that, okay? So we're going to do that, and then what we're going to do is we're also going to make another folder, and it's going to be under our same applications folder, and it's called Debian, all capitals. Now the reason we need that is for a simple reason. We need that because if we don't do that, what's going to happen, okay, and now I'm going to actually paste in our next file, but what's going to happen is we won't be able to build it. Now this control file what it does, I'm about to paste this in here, but first I wanted to stop and explain what it does. This basically talks about what the package is. So like who the maintainer is. In this case, it would be your name with your email address. And then you would put the version number in here as well, the package name, things like that. So let's go ahead and paste that over and we'll look at the template. So here we go. This is the little template that I whipped up. And we're just going to save that. We wrote 5 lines to the file, and that's it. So as you can see, we have a package, and our package is being called r-cool-app because you can't do spaces in your package name. It needs to be dashes in that case. Then we got a version, which again, as I've already indicated, would be 0.0.1, okay, which matches our folder name up here. Our architecture, because this is Python, is what's called all. So what that basically means is we are using what's called an interpreted language. For those that don't understand programming languages that much, watching this video. What that means is that basically as the code's running, it's like a bash script, if you all know bash. It will interpret it line by line and run it. The Python interpreter will. And because of that, as long as the system has a Python interpreter on it with the right packages, we can run our Python application without needing to do any kind of compiling. So that makes it really easy. So we're basically going to ship our source code and some dependencies with it, including the Python interpreter and some libraries, and then they can just run it from the source code. That's one of the cool things about Python. So if you actually open up some Python scripts that are on your system in Ubuntu and Debian systems, I often see that there's Python applications that are shipped just like that. So this is something that happens all the time. Okay, we got our maintainer here, which of course is my name, Vincent Maggard, and then I got my email address here inside of the little arrows here. Less than and greater than arrows, okay? Then you're going to put the description of the app in. So from what I understand, this is supposed to be like a paragraph or something. And in my case, like a short paragraph, 1 or 2 sentences. And I've got a simple app to show how easy it is to build. And I got a typo in it. Build a, and I guess correct grammar would be an, wouldn't it? Anyway, but build an Linux, no? I don't know, ace just sounds better. Anyway, it's probably wrong grammatically, but I like a better there, whatever. And package it, all right? So that right there is basically what we need at the bare minimum to package it. Now, if you want to do a GUI app, which we do, we also would want to build out something called a .desktop file. So what we're going to do is we're going to build out one of those right now. Okay, so let's build a .desktop file. So if we actually come over here and I show you how to do this, what we can see is what we're going to do first is we're going to run a quick terminal command. And again, we're going to build a subfolder. There it goes. Now, let's go ahead and do, oh, hold on. r-cool-app.desktop. Okay, we've got a simple little template here for this as well. Again, a lot of this stuff, it can get very complicated and technical and can get very fancy depending on what you want to do. We're just showing the fundamentals here just so everybody knows. Okay, now in my case, I haven't set an icon, so it's just going to give us a blank icon because, again, I don't have an icon for this program. Then for execute, or exec, this is the name of our program. So r-cool-apps are executable. Our path is usr/bin. Our name is rcoolapp, so that's what will be displayed to the user. The version here is the version of the .desktop entry spec, which is not our app's version. And then, of course, the type, it's an application. Categories, I've got languages and Python. Again, it's a template. You would want to use the appropriate category for yours. In my case, this is just something in here as a category. It doesn't need to even be this. And it honestly may not even qualify as the right category, even though it is a Python app. All right, so we've created that. So now what we need to do is we need to actually package it. So let's try how to do that next. It's a very simple process. So folks, Vincent interrupting here, and we need to actually copy our file real quick before we're about to build the deb package over. We need to copy it in the right directory. So if we look at my screen, the way we're going to do that is first we're going to actually set the file as executable. I almost forgot it again. I have a blooper of this, but we're going to set it as executable. And we're also going to make sure we have our shebang in it, which I also forgot to put in a minute ago as well. So here it is. The shebang tells us where the Python interpreter is. In our case, on Ubuntu systems, it's usr/bin/python3. So you'll put this in as your first line. Okay, I'll put a Git repo up, so if you all want to check this out, you can. But now we're going to just copy our main.py over using cp main usr, or no, sorry, not usr. It's going to be our main app slash usr slash bin dash r dash cool dash app. Just like that, we've copied over the file that we need to make this all work. So now if we look at the folder's structure here, this is what we've got, okay? If we actually go into our cool app, we've got the deb, or the Debian package folder, we've got USR, and if we look under USR, you can see we have bin, which has our apps file itself, and we have share applications for our .desktop file. Now, interestingly enough, I don't know why, because it should be the case that we actually have in our usr/bin, this file should have been marked as executable, but I think for some reason it didn't, even though we literally moved it. So we're going to just copy that over, or not copy that over, we're going to just mark it executable. In fact, while we're here, let's just run it real quick from the terminal, and you can see it's working. So that right there answers our question on if it works. You can do that before you package it to confirm reliability. Now I'm going to just cd back out of that directory. All right, so why don't we go ahead and build our package now? So I'm going to just paste the command in here. And you can see almost instantly it builds. I did already have an old deb package in there, but just to show you that this is real, I'm going to just delete it and we'll just run it again. And now if we list the storage, you can see it is back again without any issue. And we can even see, if I put .deb in there, that we have a Debian package formatted file. So I know what you're thinking to yourself, well, how do we install that? It's real simple. Let me show you that too. So we're going to type sudo apt install /r-cool-app and the rest of our deb package name in our case. And then if it's the first time you're doing this for a while, it may ask you to install it. In my case, I already have done this a couple times with the same package because I've been testing. So it just went ahead and accepted yes. But otherwise, I asked you for yes and you just hit Y for yes. But now we've got our application installed. So if I actually run r-cool app from the terminal, you can see that's running at a system level. And we still get the same functionality. So that was easy. And we should also be able to search for our cool app is right there, and we can also get it from the desktop. So just like that, folks, you've been able to make your own Linux package with your own really simple Linux program using the Python 3 programming language. So folks, I hope that this demystifies just how easy it is to build your own Linux package and your own Linux program. You do not need to be a computer scientist to do it, though I am sure that would probably not hurt if you happen to have your computer science degree laying around. And everybody, I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Open Source Tonight. I got some bloopers that are going to follow me here because I messed up several times. So I hope you enjoy some of those bloopers, but I thank you all so much for watching this program. Let me know in the comments if that you liked this kind of formatted video. I think it was really fun to make, and I hope that you all enjoy it. And if you do, I might make some more of these longer form, more technical, entertaining kind of type videos. But anyway, everybody, until next time, thanks for watching Open Source Tonight, and goodbye. Hi everybody, and welcome to Open Source Tonight. Today I wanted to talk to you about a topic that I think will be very interesting to at least some of you, and it is a more technical topic, so I apologize in advance if that you maybe aren't really too interested in this video. Just go watch something else. Very, very simple process. Let's launch the app now. Well, that's strange. For some reason, the app isn't showing up. R-cool-app. Bloopers! I messed up. That's my bad. So let's just pick up where we left off, okay? So what we actually need to do is one more thing. The important part. Okay, Vincent interrupting here. There's something I almost forgot to bring up. And you know what that is? Hold on. Bloopers again. I did it again. Oh, goodness. The bloopers, everybody. This is a fancy video for me. We're testing in production. Anyway, I should have been wearing that shirt. All right. No problem. What we're going to do is we're going to just fix my little error. Okay.
And action.